Hello YouTubers, Hammer Technoid here, and today we're in the digitizing studio and we're looking at this pile of action to be determined equipment. And today is the day that we go after this guy, the C3RX by TEAC. I'm going to replace the belts in that. It's all gummed up and gooey and it won't play tape, so it needs a new belt. And that is what we're going to do today. But first we have to thin out the stack and get to it. So that's what I'm going to do. Here we are down to the nitty gritty. And I'm going to take this out into the living room man cave and put it on a table and begin dissection and repair. So next up, replacing the belt. Okay, so here we are out on the repair table. And I'm just about to dig into the C3RX so I can get the belt replaced and get this baby back up and running. So here we go. So here we are, we've got the cover off, and from looking at the videos that I've watched, you know, removing the cover and the insides and all that, on the videos everything looked much bigger, but of course the camera got a closer angle. But yeah, you see that the tape transport is right here, and this board here has to be removed and it lifts up. It has hinges on it and it'll lift up out of the way. And once I gain access to this area here, I can take some connectors off. There's some screws that hold it in, and this whole tape transport part comes out. Well, as you can see, I've got it slightly disassembled here. I accessed the connectors for the heads, and those I marked so I put them back in the right spot. But I had a bit of a stall because way down in there's a screw that I had to access, and none of my screwdrivers were long enough. So I had to make a stop at Home Depot and get a really long Phillips, and it did the job. So I'm back on track. And next step, taking out the transport. Now, as you see, the tape deck has the transport removed. And of all the other videos that I've watched, everybody has removed the front faceplate. And I don't know why, or maybe I accomplished something that nobody thought was possible, but I've completely removed the transport without taking off the front faceplate and all the knobs and such, which to me seemed a real pain in the duper. Okay, so anyway, now I'm on to working on the transport itself. This didn't turn out to be half as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, just looking at the undercarriage here and the capstan and the motor, you can see this part here lifts up, and then the belt goes around the motor shaft, and then it's got to make its way around the capstan. And there's this little guy here, this wire here that controls the door opening mechanism. That has to be circumvented. So the belt has to go around that, over that, and then down into the mechanism, the drive system, and then it's done. I don't have the old belt to show you because I took this thing apart before and got it all cleaned up and ungummed, and I discarded the old belt, so I don't have that to show you. But I have a new belt, and I'm going to put it on directly, and then I'll take more pictures. Okay? Well, that took a little bit of doing, but I got the belt back on, and you can see that the capstan spins when I turn the motor because the belt is interacting with the capstan. And that should be all that needs to be done right at this moment, and then reassemble everything and get her up and running and take her for a test drive. Alright, we'll see how it goes. Here's one more look at the transport before I put it back into the machine, completing the installation and repair. Yeah, and just to show, forgive my wobbly camera work, just to show that the mechanism for opening the cassette door was working. There it is. That involved taking that little spring and string off, so that works good. Everything's functioning that way, and once I get this all together again, we'll test it up with some power and put a cassette in and see how it plays. Okay, well, it looks like I've accomplished what I really set out to do, and that is replace the belt and put the transport back in without having to tape take off the whole faceplate. And I thought that I might have to do it, and I was panicking, but then I saw what was happening was this motor here was getting hung up on a bracket. This bracket. And all you have to do is take the bracket out, and the transport slides in easily again. And man, if I'd have known that was all I needed to do in the first place to make it easy to take out, because when I was taking it out, it was like push here and push there and pull there and make sure the wires don't scrunch, and this was so much easier with that bracket removed. So that's the key right there, fellows. If you don't want to take off the faceplate, remove this bracket. It goes right there. It's the one that holds the folding board up. It's the one that brackets the folding board. So yeah, that's how it is. So I'm going to tighten up everything here, and then we're going to do a test run. Here's the machine, just about ready to be buttoned up. All the connectors have been reattached to the boards and the mechanism. There's 5 total, 2 there, those 2. There's one back here that you got to remove a little shield from. There's one up here, and there's one right beside this motor right here, a little one. I think it's a 3 or 4 post. But anyway, now I'm ready to slam this little board down and lock it down, and then put the top on, and we'll do the test. Well, here it is. It's all complete and put back together, and it seems to be running fine. I've done a few preliminary tests. It rewinds, fast forwards. Of course, it did that before, but now it has tape motion. The tape plays. I haven't physically listened to the quality of the sound, but the needles are bumping. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit play, and the way I do it on this guy, I always hit pause first, pause, and then play, and I'm going to hit the record button on the DR40, and we will get the audio coming directly from the output of the back of the TEAC here. And I don't know if it's going to show much needle bumping, because I noticed that the recording level for the DBX was fairly low, and I don't usually do that, but this was recorded on a different deck. It was recorded on a Harman Kardon CD491, but it looks like I'm getting some activity on the DR40, even though the meter on here is just barely moving. Gosh, I don't know how good it's going to sound, but it's in DBX, okay, and it's a chrome tape, so I got the chrome set, and right now it seems to be functioning just the way I want it to. I'll listen to the playback here as I'm going to edit the tape, but further on down the line I'm going to do a calibration set and a DBX test and all that with this guy. So until then, see you later.